Hey kiddos, alright, the last video I did was talking about my childhood memories, and I said when I do the next video I would combine some of the pages in my book because it has some more questions about my childhood memory and also about some family traditions that we used to have when I was young. And Easter just passed, and that was one of my family's tradition, is getting together every Easter and going camping. So anyways, I'll get to that in a minute. If you're new here, my name's Anthony Gilbert, and I'm pretty much here to leave a video library for my grandkids, answering the questions in this book called My Grandfather's Life. Just want to let my grandkids know everything about me, how I grew up, and tell them my story. So in the book, one of the questions is, what other languages did my family speak? So as what I remember, my grandparents, I'm gonna start with my grandparents because I don't remember my great-grandparents, but my grandparents spoke English and Spanish, English being our primary language, and they also spoke Spanish. My parents, they also spoke English and Spanish, English being primary. As for me, English being primary, started losing the Spanish when it came to me. Part of the reason is because my mom, when she got remarried to my stepdad didn't know English. He just spoke Spanish. So when they got together, I was young. I was barely starting kindergarten. So as I learned, I'm not going to say English because I already spoke English, I'm assuming, as a child or as a baby, but as I went to school and learned the alphabet, learned how to read and write, I would come home and my mom would say, hey, teach Jose so he can learn English too. So I did. I started teaching him as well, and they would tell me, don't talk to him in Spanish, talk to him in English so he can learn English. So we spoke primary English in our house growing up. I already spoke English, so I just continued to speak English. That's why I didn't speak a whole lot of Spanish, because they told me not to, so my stepdad can learn English, which I can speak it now. My kids, yeah. Your parents, this is for my grandkids, remember? So your parents, they speak Spanish. After my oldest son speaks Spanish, my middle son speaks Spanish, my daughter speaks Spanish. All my kids speak Spanish, not fluent and not as good as my parents, not as good as my grandparents did. And I can hold a conversation, but I'll struggle when it comes to writing and reading. I can read it, write it, and I doubt it. I haven't really tried, so I don't know. Maybe I could. I mean, obviously, if I could read it, I can write it. But anyhow, I'm not going to try. So English and Spanish was the languages. And also on the Salcida side of the family, which is my dad's side, they also spoke English and Spanish, but they also had a third language that they spoke, which was called smartassery. They were sarcastic. They're all sarcastic. They're pranksters. They're jokesters. You'll hear more about it. So to answer the question in this book, our primary language was English. Our secondary was Spanish. 2 languages is what my family has spoken in all these years. The next question is, what were some family holiday traditions you remember? Well, I spoke about this in the last video, and it was camping for Easter. And like I said, I find this video fitting for this question in the book because Easter just passed. And one of the family traditions was camping. Every Easter we would go camping at my grandfather's ranch, at my Tatas ranch. We would go and do the whole Easter thing. Well, then we started changing locations. We'd go camping up north. We'd go to places like Prescott, Payson, Baghdad, Arizona. So a few places we would go, and all our family would get together. And I mean, my parents, my aunts and uncles, all my cousins, my grandparents, uh, just all of us, we'd all get together, and for years we did that. We did that for years. And after a while, it seemed like it started dwindling down. Some of my cousins wouldn't go after a while, and then it turned into one of my aunts wouldn't go, then the other aunt wouldn't go. Kind of turned out to be just my parents, my siblings, and myself, and my kids, our kids, my nieces and nephews. It started dwindling down, like I said, after a while, and now it's really dwindled down to where last year it was myself and my sister were the only ones that went camping. So my parents didn't go, my brother didn't go, no cousins, no aunts, no uncles. I take that back. I had one cousin show up just for the day, but she was from my dad's side, so she wasn't part of this tradition for years that we had. Anyhow, last year it was my sister and myself, and we actually got snowed out. So on Easter Sunday, we were packing up in the snow. Everything was wet. Well, this year, nobody went. We didn't go camping. My sister didn't go. My parents didn't go. My brother didn't go. I didn't go. Nobody went. Part of the reason for that is because, again, it got snowed out this year. So just last weekend here in Arizona, we got snow. So my sister, she's dealing with some health conditions right now. So the cold really makes her bones ache and her muscles ache, what have you. So she said, I'm not going to go camping and go suffer for Easter this year. I'd rather just stay home. And also, next month we have a trip planned with her and her husband. So we kind of agreed to not go camping. However, me and Nana and my daughter and Anna, we went up north. We still went up north to the area we usually go camping, which is Prescott. And my daughter, she ended up getting us a room for the night. She's like, we're here, let's just get a room and stay, and we'll enjoy the indoor pool and the indoor jacuzzi. So that's what we did. We spent Easter up north, nice little quiet Easter weekend. Had dinner, breakfast, what have you, the whole weekend trip deal. It was really nice, a little small family getaway. My other two sons, they went camping. They went somewhere else camping. They haven't really gone camping with us for quite a few years either, I guess. I don't know. We get older, so our ways change. We just change. So my kids are like, yeah, you guys are getting kind of old and boring, so we'd rather go with other people where they're still partying. So that's what it is. My boys like to party, because when we used to camp as youngsters, or when I was a kid, my family would, gather around the fire at night and drink beer, have shots, drink tequila or what have you, and eat. Drink and eat, party, sing, dance, cry, everything. It was just a nice time up at camp. Well, growing up like that, I then too, when I became an adult, I started, the drinking and the partying and the singing and the crying, what have you. So my kids saw that. Well, they became of age, and it was like a bad habit starting all over again. And I guess that's why it maybe dwindled down, just got kind of boring. It's the same old thing every Easter, same old thing. Despite the family getting together, that's a beautiful thing. But everybody's habits, everybody's ways, they just change. Everybody changes, and we all expected the same outcome as when we were kids. And that ain't happening anymore. We all have our own families. We all grew up. Speaking of my cousins and myself, they all grew up, had their families, and some of them are married, some of them are divorced. So, they've lost children. So a lot of people have changed in my family. So the camping deal that's it, just a memory. I miss those days, but they were great memories. We had a lot of good memories camping as a family, as a big family. And Now that I hate to say it, but it might be over, because this Easter nobody went, and it just keeps getting snowed out. And the older we get, the less we can handle the cold. So that's a tough one. I mean, that's why we live in Arizona, right? That's your little lizards over here. Although the camping tradition might be over, getting that hotel room for one night, or just staying up north for the weekend, I think we could maybe possibly start a new tradition. Kind of saves a headache too in camping. The packing, the unpacking, the cleaning. That's what made it hard last year, is when we got snowed out, is we came home with a mess, and I just had to clean up. I spent 2 days cleaning up, because we have a travel trailer, a camp trailer, so it just got muddy, and then I had to open it up so that way it would air out, so nothing would get moldy. Just a mess. So this year was nice. We packed an overnight bag with a couple of outfits. My wife and I. Alex, same thing. Anna, same thing. And had a nice quiet night up north. It was nice. Had dinner. Watched a movie in the hotel room. Nice quiet evening. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, sis. I love it. That's her nickname. My daughter's nickname. I call her Sissy. Sis, because she was the only sister in the family. In our family, out of my kids, she's the only sister. So I think that's enough for now, but I don't know. Family tradition, it's important. Some family tradition, it creates memories, and I hope we can continue to create memories, with my grandkids, for you guys, which is why I'm leaving these videos here, so you can see what we used to do, or you'll hear my stories. Anyhow, that's enough for now. Thanks for watching, and just remember, whatever you're going through could be worse. It could be a lot worse. See you on the next one.